I once rushed a 74-year-old patient named Mr. Thomas, who lives in the suburbs of Sacramento. He was a gentle man, still walking every afternoon, managing his meals on his own, with stable health and good memory. Until one morning, he collapsed right in his bedroom. Not because of heart disease. Not because he slipped. Not because of bad weather. But simply because he got up too quickly right after opening his eyes. His wife heard the noise and ran, and she found him sitting, gasping for breath, his hand trembling, unable to form words. Minutes later, he was weak on the left side of his body. At the hospital, the diagnosis was ischemic stroke. Brain imaging showed a sudden spasm in a blood vessel branch causing mild blockage that spread. No history of high blood pressure. No diabetes. No smoking. But he had one harmless habit that many people over 60 still do every morning: jumping out of bed quickly, rushing to the bathroom, then washing the face with cold water. Dear friend, if you think, "I've been doing this for years, so what's the harm?" I understand. But what I see most often in the emergency room is not big accidents, but these small repeated daily behaviors that no one is cautious about. Especially in the morning, the time when stroke risk is highest during the day. Why is that? Because morning is the time when blood pressure spikes suddenly, blood thickens after a night without drinking water, the body switches from rest to activity, making blood vessels prone to spasms, especially in older adults. The circulatory regulation system is less responsive than before, so just one wrong move right after opening your eyes, like getting up too fast, can cause your brain to lack blood flow for several minutes. And sometimes, those few minutes are enough to take away your voice, memory, or ability to walk. What makes me regretful is that Mr. Thomas could have prevented that stroke. If that morning, he had paused for a few seconds, taken a deep breath, drank a glass of water, and sat up slowly, things could have been very different. So here's a simple but important question I want to ask you: how do you wake up every morning? How does your body come back to life? And are you protecting or accidentally harming your brain at the very first moments of your day? No one wants to start their day with a stroke. Luckily, you don't need anything complicated to prevent it. Just by changing those first few seconds in the morning, you can keep your mental clarity for life. Let me explain why mornings are the most dangerous time for stroke and what you should do before stepping out of bed. Have you ever wondered, why was my neighbor perfectly healthy all day yesterday, but the next morning he was rushed to the hospital for a stroke? I've asked myself this question since I first entered the neurology field. And after more than 20 years of practice, I realized one thing I can't ignore: most of the acute stroke cases I see happen in the early morning hours. Not in the afternoon. Not late at night. But between 5 and 10 a.m. This is not a coincidence. It's a natural weak point in the body, especially after you turn 60. And the main reason lies in how your body transitions from sleep to wakefulness. After sleep, your blood becomes thicker. During 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you neither eat nor drink. The air is dry. Breathing slows down. And your body loses water quietly through your skin and breath. The result is, your blood in the early morning is thicker compared to daytime. Thicker blood, slower circulation, higher risk of small vessel blockages in the brain. This is especially risky for people with high cholesterol, those taking diuretics, or who don't drink enough water before bed. Their blood viscosity becomes even more dangerous. Blood pressure spikes quickly when you first open your eyes. You might not notice, but each time you move from lying down, sitting, standing, your nervous system has to adjust the blood pressure to your brain rapidly to prevent dizziness. In young people, this reflex is quick and efficient. But for those over 60, blood vessels lose elasticity and circulatory nerves become less responsive. So getting up too fast right after waking can cause blood to rush to the head too quickly, or worse, cause blood vessel spasms leading to localized brain ischemia. Note, Some people become dizzy, fall, or suddenly lose the ability to speak within 30 seconds of getting out of bed. This is where things begin. Blood vessels constrict more in the morning due to hormones. Did you know that between 4 and 6 a.m., your body naturally releases a hormone called cortisol to wake up your organs? Cortisol helps activate your liver, heart, intestines. But it also causes blood vessels to constrict, slightly raising blood pressure and increases heart rate. For healthy people, this is no problem. But for those with narrowed or hardened arteries, on medication, or with a history of hypertension, this small change can be the last straw. It doesn't cause pain. It doesn't cause immediate dizziness. But combined with thick blood, stiff vessels, dehydration, and rapid rising, all at once, these factors can cause a stroke right in your bedroom even before you've brushed your teeth. Your body is not weak. It's just that your protective mechanisms need gentle support when waking, rather than being pushed like when you were 30. And here's the good news, you don't need medication. You don't need any equipment. You don't need to overhaul your lifestyle. Just starting your mornings a little differently is enough to preserve your memory, voice, and mental clarity for the years ahead. So what exactly should you do every morning to protect your brain? I'll share simple, time-saving steps in the next part. Actions I always recommend to my patients over 60 in the clinic. Did you know that many people who arrive at the hospital with early morning strokes often have no serious underlying health conditions? I've asked them, what did you do right after opening your eyes? And you know what the answers usually revolve around: very small, very familiar actions that carry hidden risks. Here are the 3 most common morning mistakes I see in people over 60. Getting up too quickly out of bed. This is the most dangerous and also the most common habit. Many people open their eyes and immediately sit up and jump out of bed reflexively. Some even rush to the bathroom, fiddle with their phone, or start boiling water without letting their body fully wake up. But here's the thing: after 6 to 8 hours lying down, your blood pressure is low, your blood vessels are constricted, and your blood is thicker. Your brain needs time to get enough oxygen when you stand up. Getting up too fast is like flooring the gas pedal when the engine is still cold. Your heart and blood vessels can't adjust quickly enough, blood flow hasn't normalized, which can cause dizziness, balance problems, cerebral blood vessel spasms, and in many cases, trigger a stroke. Drinking coffee before drinking water or eating breakfast. Morning coffee is a joy for many older adults. But if it's the first thing you put in your body after a long night without water, you're actually making dehydration worse. Coffee is a diuretic. It makes your body lose water faster. If you drink it on an empty stomach while dehydrated, this thickens your blood even more, increasing the risk of small clots forming in the brain's capillaries. This is especially dangerous if you take blood pressure meds, diuretics, or supplements in the morning. Drinking coffee the right way is fine. But drinking it at the wrong time before hydrating is what can wake up a stroke. Skipping gentle morning warm-ups for your heart and brain. Many retirees think, I don't need to rush. Sitting and drinking tea while watching the news is enough. But sitting still right after waking, without moving, is not good for circulation. Your body needs a gentle start to kickstart your heart rate and get blood flowing evenly to your limbs and brain. Not moving in the morning causes blood to pool in the lower limbs, your heart beats weaker, and brain blood flow decreases, especially for those with low morning blood pressure. Like a car that needs to warm up with a few slow laps before hitting the highway, your body needs some stretching, gentle neck turns, and deep breaths to get circulation stable. These morning mistakes might seem small, but they happen every day, every year. It's the repeated neglect that raises your risk until your brain stops warning you. The good news: just changing one simple habit each morning can wake your brain gently without harming it. I'll share with you next, a simple morning routine that takes less than 2 minutes but protects your brain all day long. Dear friend, if you ask me, Is there a simple action that can truly help protect my memory, voice, and alertness after age 60? I won't send you to medicine. I won't ask you to buy any device. I'll just say, yes. And you can start it tomorrow morning. It only takes 2 minutes. I call it, the 4 golden steps to protect your brain upon waking. Sounds simple. But after more than 20 years in the field, I've seen clearly, those who maintain these 4 steps experience less dizziness, better alertness, better blood pressure control, and most importantly, a lower risk of early morning stroke. Step 1. Don't jump up. Open your eyes, lie still for 10 seconds, and feel your body. Right after opening your eyes, don't rush to get up. Lie still for another 10 to 15 seconds, breathe evenly and notice, do you feel any slight headache? Are your limbs flexible? Do you feel dizzy at all? This is how your brain gets used to rebooting the circulatory system after many hours of sleep. If you pay attention, this is also the easiest time to detect early abnormalities. Step 2. Sit up slowly. Don't use force too quickly. Instead of sitting straight up, roll onto one side, bend your knees slightly, and use your hands to push yourself up like in yoga. Stay sitting like that for 15 to 20 seconds. This helps blood avoid rushing suddenly to your legs and reduces sudden pressure on your heart and brain. Especially effective for people with low morning blood pressure or those who often feel lightheaded when standing. Step 3. Drink a glass of warm water right in bed if possible. Once you're sitting comfortably, drink about 150 to 200 milliliters of warm water. No lemon, no honey, just plain warm water. After 6 to 8 hours without drinking, your blood thickens, increasing the risk of tiny clots in brain capillaries. Warm water slightly thins your blood, activates digestion, and sends a safe wake-up signal to your brain's blood vessels. Tip: keep a bottle of warm water beside your bed before sleeping. Step 4. Stretch. Take 5 deep breaths and relax your neck and shoulders. No complicated exercise needed. Simply sit on your bed, raise your arms overhead, gently stretch your shoulders, turn your neck left and right, and take 5 deep breaths. Stretching helps relax the muscle groups around your neck and shoulders, areas with many blood vessels leading to your brain. Deep breathing regulates your autonomic nervous system, slowing your heart rate, stabilizing blood pressure, and gently increasing oxygen flow to your brain. After 5 breaths, you'll feel clearer-headed, your eyes more open, and your mind more relaxed. Most importantly, you've safely started your brain without pushing it into sudden blood deprivation. You might think, is that all? Yes, that's all. But these simple actions change your morning vascular physiology right when you're most vulnerable. Young people can jump out of bed without issue. But for you, someone with life experience, knowledge, and responsibility for yourself, starting your day gently is how you preserve alertness for life. No one needs to remind you. Just remember, tomorrow morning, don't jump up. Drink water. Breathe. Stretch. Just 2 minutes and you've already gotten a big step ahead of a stroke. Some might ask, how do I maintain this habit? Is it easy to forget? The answer is in the next part, where I share a very special story about a 75-year-old man who went from nearly falling every morning to regaining full health just by faithfully following these 4 steps. Would you like me to continue with part 5? The true story: how a 75-year-old man greatly reduced dizziness and balance loss after adopting this simple morning routine? That part will show you, this change is not only right but effective. I met Mr. Edward, 75 years old, at a community brain health clinic in Oregon. He didn't come because of pain or a fall. He came because, every morning, my head feels dizzy like I just got off a long trip. He said, every morning, my child, when I sit up, my head feels foggy, and when I step onto the floor, I'm unsteady. There were mornings I had to hold onto the wall in the bathroom, or else I'd fall. No one diagnosed him with a stroke. All tests were normal. He was taking his blood pressure medication regularly. But his body clearly showed one thing: mornings were when he was most vulnerable. I asked him, "How do you get up each morning?" He smiled kindly. "I open my eyes and sit up right away. Go to the bathroom. Wash my face. Then make coffee." He had followed this routine for decades thinking it was harmless. But that chain of wake up, get up, move immediately caused his blood pressure to drop suddenly. Blood hadn't circulated properly to the brain yet, creating dizziness and instability every morning. And I didn't suggest more medication. I just said, "Try changing 4 things tomorrow morning. It's easy." I guided him through the 4 morning brain protection steps: open your eyes, lie still for 10 more seconds, to sit up slowly, don't jump up, drink a glass of warm water right by the bed, stretch your arms, take deep breaths, and relax your neck and shoulders. I told him, "Just do this for 1 week, then call me back." 1 week later, Mr. Edward called me with a different tone, clearer, stronger. "Doctor, I tried it. It's strange, this morning I stood up and didn't feel dizzy. My eyes feel clearer. I walk steadily. I don't need to hold the wall in the bathroom anymore." He even joked, "I drank warm water instead of coffee first thing, no more sleepiness, just a lighter head. No new medicine. No devices needed. No help required. Just a man and a small change maintained every morning." After 3 weeks, his morning blood pressure stabilized. The number of times he felt dizzy dropped from 5 to 6 times a week to less than once. He started adding deep breathing exercises before going for his morning walk. He messaged me, "I used to think only serious illnesses were worth worrying about at my age. Now I understand staying alert in the morning means staying healthy all day." Dear friend, sometimes we look for something big to protect our health. But it turns out, a glass of warm water, a deep breath, a slow sit-up can be what helps preserve your memory, voice, and independence that you've treasured your whole life. You don't have to be dizzy to start changing. You just need to want to wake up tomorrow more alert than today. Many older adults tell me when I guide them to change their morning habits, "Doctor, I'm old, my mind can't remember much. Just tell me 1 or 2 things to do." And I smile, because I want you to remember just a few things, but enough to protect your memory, speech, and clarity. So today, I only ask you to remember exactly 3 steps. No need for pen and paper, no devices. Just pay attention each morning. That's enough to cut your stroke risk by half right after waking up. Step 1: sit up slowly, don't jump up immediately right after opening your eyes, lie still for 10 seconds. Feel your heartbeat, check if you feel dizzy or if your limbs feel flexible. Then turn onto your side, place your feet on the bed, prop yourself up slowly with your hands. Why? Blood pressure is lower than usual after sleeping. If you jump up suddenly, blood hasn't pumped fully to the brain. You may feel dizzy, fall, or get a headache. In older adults, blood vessels are less flexible than when young, so they need a gentle wake-up. Instead of forcing yourself to be alert immediately, give your body 30 seconds to start the circulation system. Step 2: drink warm water right after sitting up. Keep a glass of warm water beside your bed the night before. Once stable sitting, slowly drink 150 to 200 milliliters of warm water, about half a large glass. No cold water, no additives, just warm plain water. Why? After 6 to 8 hours without drinking, your blood thickens slightly due to dehydration. Warm water naturally thins the blood, prevents tiny clots, helps blood flow better to the brain. Warm water also lightly stimulates digestion, preparing your body for breakfast. Think of drinking water as a gentle hug for your blood vessels each morning. Step 3: take 5 deep breaths and stretch gently after drinking water. Sit upright on the bed. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, Hold your breath for 2 seconds, exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds, repeat 5 times. Then, raise your arms overhead, stretch gently, rotate your head left and right, tilt down and up each direction twice. Why? Deep breathing balances your autonomic nervous system, stabilizes heart rate and blood pressure. Stretching and neck rotation open blood flow to the neck, shoulders, and brain, reducing early brain ischemia risk. Your body wakes up safely without shock. If you feel lighter-headed, your eyes clearer, that means blood is flowing evenly to your brain. Tips to maintain this habit. Stick a small note by your bedside lamp with these 3 words: sit slowly, drink water, stretch, prepare your warm water and clean glass next to the bed the night before. You can play soft music for the first 2 minutes of your day to remind you, this time is just for my brain. You don't need anything complicated to protect yourself from stroke risk. Just slow down 2 minutes each morning and your body will thank you all day long. You already know how. Now it's time to start. Tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, don't jump up. Remember, you are preserving your most precious things: your memory, your voice, and yourself. If you find these steps easy to remember and do, I will continue with part 7, self-check questions. Are you starting your brain right every morning? This will be a tool to help you stay motivated, self-evaluate, and adjust your behavior naturally, not forced. Would you like me to continue writing? Many people don't realize they're starting their day the wrong way. Not because they don't care, but because they've never been asked the right questions. So today, I don't want you to worry. I just want you to take 1 minute to ask yourself 3 very simple questions. There's no right or wrong answer. Just listen to yourself. And if you realize something needs adjusting, that's good. Because that means, you still have time. Question 1. Do you ever feel dizzy or have blurred vision when you first stand up? Getting out of bed and feeling a bit dizzy before it clears up, walking into the bathroom and feeling unsteady, needing to hold onto the sink, sometimes having to sit back down because it feels like there's not enough blood going to your head. If this happens more than twice a week, it's very likely you're standing up too quickly, or your blood hasn't fully circulated after sleep. A gentle tip: you can fix this just by lying down for 10 more seconds then sitting up slowly as I've guided. Question 2. What do you usually drink first thing after waking up? Water, coffee, nothing. If coffee, you might be losing water faster, especially if your stomach is empty. If nothing, your blood is still thicker after 7 to 8 hours without water. If cold water, your body contracts suddenly, which is not good for brain blood vessels in the morning. The best choice is warm water, about 150 to 200 milliliters right after sitting up. This is the simplest way to protect your brain's blood vessels and reduce the risk of tiny blood clots. Question 3. How many minutes do you spend calming your body before getting out of bed in the morning? Do you take deep breaths? Do you stretch your arms, gently turn your neck, relax your face and hands? Or do you immediately jump down and spring up like a coil? If you answer I don't pay attention, it's very likely you're starting your day with hidden stress, even if you don't realize it. You only need 2 minutes to wake up your body properly, and those 2 minutes can help you feel clearer and steadier all day. If you answered not sure or don't know to all 3 questions, don't worry. That just means, you've never been clearly guided before. And now, you have simple, effective little tools in your hands to adjust that each morning. You don't have to be perfect starting tomorrow. You just need to want to remember what your body has been telling you. Just pay a little more attention and you're already on the right path. You're doing very well. And if you want, I can help you remember this journey gently with one last story. A woman who nearly lost her voice but kept everything just by listening to herself one morning. There's one very small thing I hope you won't forget: your body needs you the most the moment you open your eyes. Not when you leave the house. Not when you have breakfast. But at the very first moment you wake up, and the quiet stillness of the morning. Because at that moment, your heart is beating slowly, your brain is waiting for blood to flow evenly, and the tiniest blood vessels are asking you, "Today, can you give me a few more seconds to start safely?" We often think we need to do more, exercise more, change our entire lifestyle to be healthy. But sometimes, just choosing to start your day 2 minutes slower can help you keep a lifetime of memory and clarity. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need machines. You just need to pay attention and believe that you deserve to be alert. You deserve to start a new day with clarity and peace. I have witnessed too many people lose their voice, memory, and independence just because that morning they rushed a little too much. And you don't have to be one of them. You can choose differently. Choose to be clear-headed. Choose gentleness. Choose to protect yourself from the very first second. If you've watched this far, try one small thing. Comment below, "I will start changing from tomorrow." Because sometimes, just one sentence you leave behind can be a reminder for yourself and a motivation for someone else. You can also share this video with loved ones over 60, those you care about, those who wake up early every day without realizing they need to take better care of themselves. And if you're patient enough, try applying the 3 simple steps I shared for the next 3 days. Then come back and tell me, how has my morning changed? I believe you will feel the difference. Not just in your mind but also in your spirit. In the feeling of regaining control over yourself. Thank you for staying with me till the end. I hope you not only listen but start doing. Start loving yourself, beginning with the smallest habits. Because every morning you still open your eyes is a morning you still have the chance to keep your voice, your memory, and a precious part of your life ahead. Wishing you wake up tomorrow not just alive, but living right and living alert.